As we enter the final third of the season, Blackburn Rovers are on free fall after they suffer their fourth successive defeat. But where do we go from here? Will Mowbray still be in charge for Watford? We'll take a look at that. How much more next? Folks, back once again with another match review. This time looking back at Blackburn Rovers' latest shambles up against Nottingham Forest, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, where the heck have you been, boys? Smash your subscribe to get you banger today with all things Blackburn Rovers' latest championship. Whoa, football, here we go here. Underwaruski, that's right, goodness gracious me. It is, what is it now? 4 defeats in the bloody row, and of course, no sign of anything changing personnel-wise, so it could be a long old few weeks for Rovers, as of course the season just gets worse from here. We'll talk all about that in a second. I want a big shout out, of course, to the Patreons. You know who you are, the VIP band of brothers supporting the channel behind the scenes. So thank you so much for doing just that. And if you are interested, there are links down below. So let's go into it and let's waste no more time. Of course, I'll take a look at the stats that matter. And again, you could probably argue that of course all the positive numbers once again for Rovers. Of course, the one and only number that matters though is the 1-0 loss. Of course, Nottingham Forest coming out on top with Alex Mighton. Now, prior to kick-off, I was actually quite relieved because I didn't see Joe Lolly in the starting 11, but they didn't even need it. And of course, we were buoyed on by the fact that our own loney youngster, 17-year-old Harvey Elliott, was in the field, and maybe he could open up the floodgates again and get us a goal. But it was a 17-year-old of Nottingham Forest, Joe Lolly stand-in, Alex Mighton with the Bobby Dazzler to give themselves the win on the 26th minute. In a game that, in all fairness, it was probably even. We had a couple of chances. We even had a penalty that was saved. So it just was not meant to be. I think Lewis Taylor had an opportunity to put the ball in the back of the net. There was other opportunities for Forest that they could have actually snatched. They actually had more shots than we did on the night, but of course Rovers are going to be buoyed on by some way, somehow, by those numbers. Of course, pass accuracy, passes, the possession, all those numbers. We'll take a look at those in a minute in a bit more detail. In fact, let's hop on over to those in just a second in all their glory. Of course, we're going to take a look at the overview of the lineups here. We'll take a look at them individually in a minute. They're saying Nyambe was wearing the captain's armour. That is wrong. False news. That is, of course, Adam Armstrong was wearing the captain's armour. No Darrell Edhen, no Elliot Bennett, which for me, I think that was a big no-no. The only guy, the academy prospect, besides Nyambe, you got Travis in there. The rest don't play for the shirt, and you can tell there was moments in this game that I saw a very little desire to chase things down, to go for the loose ball, the second balls, your Breretons, your Gallaghers that were paid big money to come to this club, not pulling on the shirt, not going for it. Why aren't they? And I can also say the same can be said for other players in this field on the pitch today. The belief, the desire to go that extra mile is gone. It's gone. I don't know where it is. You know, it's not the attitude to have. We need to have players playing for the bloody badge. Elliot Bennett, I know he's not the best creative guy, and he's probably a couple of years too old for this club, but he will play his heart out for this club. It's going to be a shame. Of course, I think he's going to be going at the end of the season, but we need players like him, of his mould, that will say, you know what, we've got to try harder. It was not good enough today. Even when we have opportunities, set pieces, there's no skill involved anymore. We've lost that ability to make set pieces our strengths. In fact, we're probably the worst in the division for set pieces. I've not seen a good corner all season. I've not seen a good free kick all season, besides Lewis Holtby's one in the League Cup back in against Doncaster Rovers. That was the only one that I got excited about and ended up in the back of the net. Since then, we've absolutely been shit. So take a look at other numbers. Of course, here 62% possession for Rovers, 37.5 for Forest. But guess what, Moby? That means nothing. It means nothing. You can have all the bells and whistles. You can hit the woodwork 20 times in the match, have all the ball, all the shots, all the things. But guess what? If Nottingham Forest have just had the one shot, one goal, that's all that matters at the end of it. And guess what? You should feel a little bit guilty about this. You should go away from this thinking, we've been shit. you know what, I've tried to put my thing on there. They're not listening. They're not comprehending. They're not taking on board. And why are they? Why are they doing that? Why are they not? Is there a lack of belief? Is there something wrong going on behind the scenes that we don't know about? Is there something that's disrupting the flux? Because I believe there is. There must be something in there. In fact, I think the whole, it paints a good picture. Mowbray being here 4 years in charge, spending some money, bringing in some exciting prospects. It does look good on paper, but when you go down to the crisps and the crumbs of it all, you realise Nyambe's contract is running out. You know that Adam Armstrong's contract runs out next season, so basically he's going to be a ticking time bomb, a ticking. The money is just going to be fading away of his value at the end of the season. The likes of what's his name? Bradley Johnson's going to be leaving. Joe Rothwell's contract runs out. Amari Bell's contract runs out. There's too many question marks going on for Rovers. We're going to be losing. I counted up a whole handful of midfielders. Your Bradley Johnsons, your Elliot Bennetts, your Lewis Holtbys, your Stuart Downings. That's 4 experienced members who are on the cusps of leaning, and there's no sign of that changing. There's no. We did re-up John Buckley, Tyree Stolen's contracts for the next couple of seasons, which is good. I'll give you a half a round of a clap for that one, but unfortunately you need to be securing some experience, because when you look at this field today, we had 1, 2, 3 loanees on the pitch there. And when you look at Armstrong, Gallagher and Brereton, that's a lot of money in striking talent. And again, they couldn't put it in the back of the net. So we were playing a lot of loanees who realistically, when it comes to the end of it, they're not playing for the badge. They're playing for work experience, minutes under the belt, to go away, to go back to their parent clubs and say, you know what, we did all right, actually. I played 6 months at Rovers in the Championship. I think I did all right. I think I can justify a place on the bench here in the Premier League. So, we need to be at least showing the initiative and the desire to keep some of our experienced players. For me, I would get Nyambe signed up. I would extend the contract for Adam Armstrong, even if you're going to just sell him on, because as soon as the season comes to a close, or that breaks that year mark, and we're in 12 months, 11 months and counting, Adam Armstrong's value is going to deplete like it's going out of fashion, and we're going to end up, instead of getting 15 million, we'll probably be lucky to get 7 or 8, to be fair. So that's not good business sense. It's not good, and I'm not no business dude anyway. I just see it. Same with Nyambe. He's at least a £5 million, £6 million right back at this division, and I'm sure we can get that easy if you were to just get him up to one up the contract. Spend the extra money of 10, 20 grand. I don't know what it is he'll get per week, but you need to be at least keeping your assets. If you're going to be we're in a COVID year here, you've got to spend money to make money. Spend a little bit of money by upping their contract just in case you're going to sell them on anyway. Otherwise, we're going to lose them. We could probably lose this summer. Rothwell is probably at least a £4 million, £5 million player. Some might even argue more than that. Nyambe as well is another £5 million. That's £10 million of talent right there. Could just drip through the flipping woodwork. You're saying for Holtby, could get a couple of million for him as well. Your Bradley Johnson's, yeah, Betts might not be that much value in it, but you got to protect your club here and protect the future. And of course, Kaminsky, again, that's another one. You need to up that contract as well. Anyway, let's take a look at the starting 11s. Here we go with of course, Nottingham Forest. Samba between sticks. He was the hero today. Pain in the arse, but it hurts me to say. He was a very good keeper. Ribeiro, the left back, Worrell, Figueiredo, and Christie at your right back. Gardner, Cafu, not that Cafu, but that Cafu. Kraganovic, there's young Mighton. He's that young. He doesn't even have a face in there or FIFA. Knocker and Murray up top. Of course, experienced guys right there doing the business, of course, and Kraganovic as well was doing the bit in the middle of the field there. As to Rovers, Kaminsky between sticks, Amari Bell at left back. I don't know what's going on wrong with Barry Douglas. And again, this is beggars belief. It is, and I've never used the phrase Tony's tombola before in my life, but it feels like that. You can't, I can't go into the game on against Watford on Wednesday and know what team he's going to pick. I have no clue. No clue. The only thing I would know is Kaminsky would start, and he was hobbling as well, so I don't know. It might not be him to start. But besides that, Adam Armstrong will probably start. And maybe, I don't know. And then the rest of it are a guess. It's a guessing game. There is no consistency. There's no first 11 that you would say, this is my first 11, and just change 1 or 2. You're bringing in Davenport 1 week, you're bringing in flipping Corey Evans the next week, you're bringing in Amari Bell left back, then you bring Barry Douglas in. You drop Ryan Nyambe, you put Harwood Bellis over there. There's no sequential standard 11 for Rovers. And again, now we look like we're flip-flopping formation. There's no consistency with Rovers, and I feel quite concerned about that. And that could be It could be just guesswork, really. And then the substitutions today were just the case. The other day, it was like, change it up and bring on Corey Evans when we're losing. Today, it was into the final 7 or 8 minutes. Oh, shit. I'll throw my attacking players on and see something that happens. And nothing came. Nothing came of it. Here are my match ratings coming at you. Of course, Kaminsky with a 5. He pretty much was a spectator for the most part. Didn't really have to do... he actually did really a couple of good saves. Might be a bit hard on that one. Amari Bell with a 5. Branthwaite with a 6 at Harvard Best. They were okay, but 6 don't win your matches, boys. You need 7s and 8s. There's none of that today. Spoiler alert. Nyambe with a 5. He picked up an injury as well, was substituted at the end, so that's concerning. It might give Mowbray a bit of a smile because he could get to play hard with Bellis at right back to please Pep, of course. Travis and Davenport were good in midfield without being spectacular. Elliott with a 6 as well, causing problems. Brereton and Gallagher were ghosts to me. Poor. And I like Brereton, and I like Gallagher for a point, but they're slowly but surely proving to be more flops than good. They've got no belief in themselves. Have a pissing but go. That's what we need. We need a bit of Bradley Johnson in the middle. He's not afraid to have a bloody shot. There's too much whimping and whining and we have to give it to Armstrong to have a bloody shot. No, you're all you're all footballers. You get paid a shit ton load of money. Have belief in yourself. Nyambe, you're due a goal. Make it bloody happen. The rest of you is bloody have a go. Believe in yourselves. Don't always go that extra couple of steps. Sometimes it's worth just having a bloody go. Have a bloody go. Have it on your shirt. Have a bloody go, man. Just have a go. And then you might be surprised. You might go, oh, bloody hell. Because we do see screamers left, right and centre. Look at Mighton today. He had a bloody go. And guess what? Went in the back of the net. You guys just want to go that extra couple of bloody steps. If you look back at since bloody November, Preston, after that, it's been shit. I'm not lying to you. It's been shit. I've watched it. I've watched them all. I've watched each and every one of Rovers plays. There's not one of those games that I could go back and say, those were really good football games. They were not. We might have won a couple of them, but they were all dire performances. I cannot get excited about that. Where is it? Where's the desire gone? And even in amongst that game against Preston back in their place, there were some shit performances as well. We've been lying to ourselves since the get-go. We've been lying. We've been had some really good wins at the start of the season, but guess what? A lot of those were against 10 men. Against 10 men. It's time. It's time to address the elephant in the room. That is, of course, it's a time to change manager, but it won't happen. It will not happen. As much as we think it's time to change, and I can see both sides of the argument. I can see it as a Rovers fan. I'd love some new input to this club. I'd love a new change, a breath of fresh air. Mowbray's been fantastic. He's done a world of good. He has. But on the flip side, we're not getting fans in the stand. Mowbray's an affordable option. You're going to have to pay money to part ways with him. You're going to have to pay money to bring in somebody else. You're going to have to, it's just not the era to change it up, especially when there's not money coming in. And then you've got, it's just a blah, blah, in blah. I'll tell you what. Anyway, let's take a look at some other numbers here that matter. We had more touches than they did. We are representing the blue numbers here, 683 to their 476, 505 passes to their 305. They hit the woodwork once, as did we did. We had a penalty as well, which was saved. These are the heat maps. If you're a heat map man just like me, of course you can see all the gear, no bloody idea. Of course, Forest, sporadic, if that. But guess what? This is what matters at the end of it. 1-0. That's a little bit of what I've had to say. What about the gaffer? Here he is once again. Put it in the bag and move on. Watford Wednesday, something like that. Here he is. Tony, show me what you're talking about.
Well, it was more like the way we want to play. It was more like the team we've been for most of the season. I think, the last 2 games have been a bit frustrating for us. We haven't played at the levels. I thought today we looked like the team that we've been for most of the season, really. And we feel a bit hard done by that we haven't got anything from that game, but it's probably, as you say, it's maybe the way it's going for us at the moment. I've always said about performance levels is what's going to get you where you end up at the end of the day, and I think we needed to raise the performance from the last couple of games, but similar to the QPR game, really, a game I thought we were generally on top and looked in the ascendancy for the most of it and pretty dominant, but ended up losing 1-0. It was all right. Listen, I've just said to them there, if that's their performance level, we've got to accept that and take that, because we're going to win some football matches, as I've always said to them from the first game. they have to play with that urgency and intensity and front foot attitude, and it was generally pretty good. Obviously we failed to convert a penalty kick, which I felt if we'd have scored we might have gone on and won it, because we were really in the ascendancy, but there you go. Listen, I want to give them some praise. I thought they were really good today. I thought they played with real intention. It was a really young team. It was an average age of about 22. There was, you know, 2 18-year-olds playing at the back and a 17-year-old playing in midfield. You know, I thought Adam Armstrong looked Premier League class today, really, and yet unfortunately he missed the penalty. I thought he was really snappy and sharp in everything he did, and yeah, it was just a frustrating day for us against Forest team that are built on resilience. Really, we'll be fine. We did all right. Let's just see where it takes us, and if we play like that every week, we'll win a lot of games like we did early season. It's only mentality, and sometimes it's you know, they have to believe in each other. Really, I think Wednesday night against Barnsley was a one-off game for us, where I had studied the opposition as I study every opposition, and thought if we'd gone with the back four they would have really stretched us, give us lots of problems there. We just tried to match them up in a game where we had to go and try and make it a bit scruffy and try and sneak a win, and sometimes you have to do that. You have to roll your sleeves up and go and sneak a win. Today we went back to what we were all about as a team and caused them enough problems, and but didn't convert, weren't ruthless enough ultimately, and yet I think that's not a criticism, it's just a fact. But I think the performance level of the side was what we would want it to be most weeks. I think it did fine. I think they've still got parts of the game they need to learn. They're still a bit naive on certain things, but very good. I think, yeah, I was pleased with them. I was pleased with the team, considering, as I said, how young it was. Yeah, frustration for me on the end of that game is that we've got 2 injured players on the back of it, but that shouldn't surprise us either, I suppose, because that's been the case most of the season. And but yeah, Sam Gallagher's currently in hospital. He's coughing up blood at half time. We don't know whether he's punctured a lung or damaged the lung or bruised the lung, I'm not sure, but he's in hospital at the moment getting x-rayed. Ryan Nyambi, obviously you see what the damage of his hamstrings are, really, but let's wait and see. Problems with his ribs, he's had them for a little bit. He took some injections to try and get through training, but ultimately I suppose the pain threshold is too much, and yeah, so Dara is unavailable we'll have to wait and see. I think he did get a scan, seeing whether it was a cracked rib. I'm not sure there's a fracture there, but he's obviously got badly bruised ribs at the moment. You know the situation we're in, I know the situation you're in. It's not great at this moment, but it can turn around if the performance level stays as high as it is. We can win plenty of games on the bounce and put ourselves back in the picture. At the moment it looks a little bit difficult, but it can happen. We've been through bad spells in the past, and we can bounce back, and if the performance level, as I said, stays as high as it was today, we'll win plenty of games.
Meanwhile, what's going on social media? Let's take a little look at that, shall we? Of course, over on the Twitter sphere, Jen Frankish said this: all the Rovers fans I've seen saying they were hoping we'd lose and hope we'd miss the penalty. I've never seen anything more pathetic. You want Mowbray gone, but with the toxic attitudes like that, it will be long before you want the next guy gone. The min, we had a bad run. I, for one, wanted us to, of course, to score that bloody goal. I'm not one of those, and I like Mowbray, and he will always look good in my eyes. I believe it's time for a change. I'm going to be vocal about that now and talk about that. I might even do a video about it. I don't want him to fail. Of course, I'd love to see Mowbray turn it all around. I just don't think he will do that. Mike Delap said this: it's hard to know where we go from here. Rovers not exactly Barnsley away level, poor today, but there's enough variety on show to suggest sides can't just figure us out if they anything decent about them. Meanwhile, Lewis Hartley said this: Mowbray has clearly lost the dressing room. His time at the club is long overdue. Clueless manager who can't get the best results out of his club, of his players. Shocking result today. Not won any games this month. 5 points off 20th, 10 points off drop zone. Nothing good about this game. Meanwhile, Rovers Leo said referee was an utter disgrace. Poor performance as always. He was shit. Really was. Didn't know what he's doing. He's like he was bloody first day at school. Adam Samtuki said there's some positives to take from today compared to past few games, but overall still not good enough for an all too familiar defeat. Nothing working for us. Does feel like time for fresh ideas and approach, but season is over now. I'm not sure I see the value in bringing in another manager. You're right there, but you've got to ask yourself, if with that tweet, you've got to ask yourself, if you're going to have Mowbray next season. If you're not going to have Mowbray next season, then guess what? I think it's time to change. Unless there's some financial stipulation that his contract is up and it's going to, we can just, sweep him out the door with no cost, then fair enough. But getting a new manager in would be able to build and have a look at what's on the offer and readdress contract situations. So that's what I would say about that. Calamitous said this: another loss against the team below us in the table. This is embarrassing. Rover 1997 love Mowbray for the job he has done, but it's gone stale and needs to change. Some of the players need a long hard look at themselves. Yes, they do. They've thrown the man under the bus, but the lack of grit and effort. Some of them are not fit to wear the shirt. Wankers. Wow, harsh. Gavin said this: I know that has Tony loves a stat. So here's a few for him. Lost the last 4, last 15, conceded first in 12, scored in the first half twice, won 4, scored 12. Not good enough. Yes, Callum Morton said this: Mowbray out. Thank you for everything you've done, but it's time to go. Sick of seeing an emotionless manager sat on their fat arse. That's a bit harsh. Be screaming at players, pushing them on. If I was on a 3-match losing streak, time to go, Tony. No plan A, never mind plan B. M said this: big moment now for the club. Can't carry on like this. Paul Doherty said this: we're officially closer to relegation in the top 6. Tony, please resign. Matthew Treach said this: in the next 8 we play the top 5 plus Millwall, and because we could considerably be in a relegation fight coming April, but yes, let's stay happy because he is better than Coyle. Truth is, this with this squad of players we were where we are here, he is performing worse at best. It's not better. Words to that effect. So yeah, where do we go from here? Where do we bloody go? To be honest with you, I think things will stay the same. Mowbray may, if the rumours are, people are saying Waggett's going to be retiring at the end of the season, then that could be a whole chance to rebrand everything. So many players out of contract, so many players' contracts are winding down within that last 18 months. Mowbray could then face the wrath of a new hierarchy, and then, you know what, it could all change. And then, but ultimately, let me go back to full screen on this one. Be careful what we wish for. I know I'm being vocal about what I'd like, but there is a lot of dog shit out there. There is a lot of dog shit, and we don't want to be lumbered with a Coyle, a Lambert, a Henning Berg, a Michael Appleton, a Paul Ince. We've had some shit ones in the past. Really have some shit ones. So let's be careful. Anyway, this is what else went on around the Championship. Of course, Watford disposed of Derby. Coventry embarrassed Brentford. Of course, they're on the horizon as well. Norwich City with a 1-0 win over Rotherham. Huddersfield spanked bloody Swansea. Look at that, 4-1 win. Cardiff also with a 4-0 win over Preston. Stoke were also with a couple of goals in the Nathan Jones Derby, a 3-0 win. Birmingham got a massive win against Sheffield Wednesday. Middlesbrough also beating Reading, of course. Slipped at Barnsley with a late goal there. 1-0 win. QPR did beat Bournemouth, which is good for them. Millwall 0 and Wycombe 0. But of course, the shit show of the day was, of course, at the City Ground 1-0 win loss to Forest. Kicking off, let's take a look at the table. As you look at it, it's pretty much as you were. Leeds at Bournemouth losing, which has given us a bit of hang-on ability, but it's basically opened up the door for the likes of Cardiff, Middlesbrough, and even the likes of Stoke and Barnsley to close in on the top 6. As for the foot of the table, Wycombe, Sheffield Wednesday, Rotherham going down as it stands. Birmingham, big win for them, but of course Rovers, we are now 10 points off of the relegation zone, and we are 10 points off of the top 6. We do have a game in hand, of course, and we win that one. Guess what? We're up to 11th, but that's just being hopeful, if anything else. Look at what's going on this week. Coming on, we're moving forward. Midweek action, of course. Derby against Huddersfield on Tuesday. Middlesbrough against Bristol City on that one. Birmingham against Norwich. Rotherham against Forest. A chance for them to get some more points on the board as well. Luton Town against Millwall. Wycombe against Reading. I don't see Reading not winning that one. Brentford against Sheffield Wednesday. They should get back to winning ways there. Swansea should be Coventry. Barnsley against Stoke will be interesting. Preston against QPR. Of course, QPR on fire. Bournemouth against Cardiff here. Look at that. Chance for Cardiff to actually go into the top 6 by beating Bournemouth. And of course, Rovers will entertain Watford, which will be... I might as well put some money on Watford to win this game because it pretty much feels like a nailed-on win. And that's pretty much all I've got for you today, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the old thumbs up. And if you're new, smash your subscribe to get you back today with all things Blackburn Rovers League Championship today. Whoa, football, we're going to go here on the Warrooski. That's it, my friends. I'm going to go lie down now. Of course, it's been a long old couple of days. If anything breaks regarding Mowbray, please let me know, because I'm going to be switching off for at least a day or so. I've got a lot of work. I've got a job interview on Monday, so I need to kind of nail that sucker just to see what's on offer there. And of course, got a lot of other things going on behind the scenes. But until then, though, be sure to give the video some love and smash the thumbs up. Check out the links down below. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, and again, if you want to support me in another way, you could become the latest member of the Patreon gang. All those links are down below. But until then, though, I'll see you all soon. Take it easy, mask up, 6 feet. I'll see you all next time.